What's up, guys? Welcome back to Echoes of Elsewhere, the podcast where we uncover the forgotten and faded places of the world. I'm your host, Courtney Autumn. I'm back this week to take you guys on an adventure, in a way. I went to visit a abandoned mansion that is in my area. And this particular spot has blown up over the recent past. And a lot of that does have to do with urban exploration becoming kind of a, I guess, viral trending hobby. I don't know what to really call it. However, unfortunately, some people who term themselves urban explorers are not really urban explorers because, again, I will emphasize this on every episode if I have to. You are not an urban explorer. By the true term and definition of it, you're not urban exploring if you're going to an abandoned place to vandalize it. And it's just really simply put. Don't call yourself an urban explorer. Call yourself a vandalist. A vandal. I don't know. Call yourself a criminal. Whatever you will. Either way. That's besides the point. But like I said, I will bring that up every time if I need to. And I do feel like I need to sometimes. So I'm sorry if I'm becoming like the mom of urbex. But call me what you will. I am in disagreement with it. I don't like it. I hate it. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let me put a disclaimer out here because I feel comfortable naming the place because it's already blown up. So there's that. Like it doesn't take anything to find. That's way besides the point. That's not an invitation to go out there, by the way. Unless you have good intention, you know? If you're just going to go out there and preserve and take pictures and do your thing, I welcome you to. Anyways, it's been coined the Flintstones Mansion by other people. I can see why. It literally looks like something that the Flintstones would live in. Truly. It looks insane. It's this huge white concrete mansion. At one point, most of the back of it was all glass windows. They're all gone. They've all been knocked out. There's a huge pool in the back. It's 3 stories. I can't even remember now, honestly. It's so fucked up in there, guys, that you don't really even get a good feel anymore of what it could have been because it's legitimately so ruined. And some of the parts of the floors were too sketchy to walk on. Anyways, it's called the Palmer Mansion. It belonged to E. Perry Palmer and Mr. Palmer. He was kind of like a trailblazer around here. He was known as one of the region's most respected funeral directors. He seemed to have built his reputation on compassion. His funeral home became a cornerstone of the community where grieving families found solace and dignity, obviously in their hardest moments, but it seemed like Perry was more than a businessman. He was a true humanitarian, quietly funding charities, hosting community events, offering financial support to those in need. He seemed to have a really deep love for his wife, Grace, who sadly passed away, I think in 1984. I think she was only like 48 or so. And I haven't been able to find out for certain, but I think that she passed away in some sort of accident where she was crossing the street and was struck by a vehicle. Don't quote me on that. If I'm not right on that, I apologize. But that it's actually kind of hard to find the full story. I shockingly haven't been able to find a news article or anything on it. But somewhere along the way, that's kind of what I was able to piece together. So if you know anything about the Palmer Mansion or the Palmers, and you know about Grace more than I do, then let me know. And Do correct me if I'm wrong, because I always want to try to be correct when I'm telling these stories about these places. But long story short, Mr. Perry passed away in 2010, and shortly after, the mansion was left abandoned under mysterious circumstances, because I feel like from what I'm reading, the family seems to still be in the area. He has 2 kids. One of them I think is in jail. Again, don't quote me on these things. These are the things I found on the internet. But I think that his son is in jail, and I think it's some really minor shit, by the way. I don't think he murdered anyone. I think it's like some minor drug charges or something. But I think he's serving time. I'm not sure where the daughter is. I think she lives within the state, but not in this area. So I don't know. I'm not sure. To be honest, it seems like such a rare piece of property, especially for this area, because it's in the middle of what seems like the woods, but you're in the city. So I don't know. I would never have left it abandoned. I don't know. It's really, really odd, and I think that's what intrigues me most about it. But to tie all of this into this podcast and really everything I'm doing these days. The Palmer Mansion, I don't even really remember how I came across the Palmer Mansion, to be honest with you. But I hadn't been exploring in over a decade. And I saw a video of the Palmer Mansion floating around on the internet. I think it just came up in my feed somehow by happenstance. And then I realized that they were in my area, and I was like, no way. This is not here. That can't be here. It literally looks like something that is not, it could not be here. So that sent me on a search to figure out if it was really here or not, and like, what is the story on this mansion? This seems weird, you know. And then I realized that, well, one, there is a story about this mansion, and it is bizarre, you know, and it is, but it isn't. I know that it's like, it's just this guy who was a funeral director and his mansion is abandoned. You know, it could be that simple. But I don't ever look at it that way. To me, it's never that boring. It never is, because I feel like the fact that this really expensive piece of property is just sitting here, and there's family around that could claim it and, I don't know, at least secure it better or something. I have no idea, but it just shocks me, because at some point in time, right after this guy passed away, this thing was still in its prime. This mansion was still in a livable condition. It was his home until he died. And I don't know, it's just really, really fucking weird that something that was this expensive and this valuable, if nothing else, has been left abandoned. When he has kids, there is family in the area. I don't know. Explain it to me. I don't understand. And I only say that because from the gate, there's a separate garage on the property that probably could fit like 2-3 cars in it, if not more. I don't know. A basketball court, a pool. I mean, why would you leave that abandoned? So I'm just so confused. So confused. I think I'm going to make it my goal to reach out to the family and get one of them on the podcast so we can get some confirmation on the story, because I'm so interested and so intrigued, and I have so many fucking questions that it's killing me. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I saw a video of this come up in my feed somewhere, and like I said, and that sent me on a search to find out more about the property. And I confirmed that it is in fact here where I live. And then I realized, in that research, I realized that there's an entire community for urban exploration and for people who visit abandoned places. And there's all these people that love to do this the same way I did. And because of the Palmer Mansion and because of me seeing that random video, it inspired the shit out of me to get back into it. Ever since then, I just have not been able to do anything other than something to do with urbex. I'm obsessed with it. But it's all thanks to the Palmer Mansion in a way. I feel like I owe my reignited inspiration for urbex and for abandoned places and exploring in general to the Palmer Mansion and to the fact that I randomly happened to see that video one day, and shockingly, it isn't the first place I went out and explored once I started exploring again. And I think it's because I realized that it was getting really blown up, and the videos that I've seen on YouTube of it were already, you could tell it was vandalized already. And it's in worse condition now than it's in any of those videos. So definite activities going on there probably regularly. Like I said, it's a place that everybody knows about. It's unfortunate. And that's the thing I always ask myself. I think as much as I ask myself questions about the backstory of these places, when there's this much vandalism, I ask myself just as many questions around that, because I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I don't understand what the incentive is or what the urge is, I guess, to go to a place that was this beautiful and ruin it. And it's not about ruining it for anyone in particular. It's just in general. I don't get why there's such a destructive reflex or nature in some people. I've never been that way. I hear some people say that they may have done that when they were younger, but I've never been that way. I mean, believe me, I'm the first bitch to want to take a baseball bat to something. Just because. So I get that part. And that's why I want to go to one of those rage rooms where you can like beat the shit out of a car with a baseball bat. I would pay so much money for that. You guys, if that sounds like fun to you, let me know, because we need to be friends. Not a lot of people understand that about me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, I would love to absolutely just beat the shit out of something and get all my aggression out. But it's not going to be a mansion, and it's not going to be a house or a bando of any sort or anything. It's going to be something I paid money to go demolish, because I feel like it's the only ethical, logical way to do it. And it just confuses me. I don't understand. But if you're from here at all, you know this is such a rare and exquisite piece of property that I don't know why your reflex or your intention would be to start demolishing it and ruining it and destroying it. Like, I don't know. It's really disheartening. And if nothing else, when a place tells a story of its own, I can't help but to feel connected in a way to the people who the house belonged to. So it's kind of like, I'm not going into a house to ruin it, especially if it's not my own to ruin. It's so, I don't even know what to call it. It just doesn't make any sense. It's senseless. It's so senseless. But anyways, we'll get off that topic. My point is, it's not the first place that I explored. I did wait a while. I don't know if I'm glad that I waited or not. By the time I would have gotten out there either way, whether I did it 6 months ago or now, it was already ruined. So I thank the people who are explorers and have documented it when it was far more preserved than it is now. Shout out to all you guys, because this is why I do what I do. And that's why most of the people who call themselves urban explorers and that are urban explorers do what they do. And it's to preserve these places in the form that they're in. And it's even better for us when we find a place that's untouched by vandalism. There's no broken shit everywhere. There's no spray painted shit everywhere. And not that I don't love graffiti. I do. I really, really do. If y'all know me in real life, y'all know. But there's a time and a place for everything. Go tag up a train. I'm all here for that. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I don't think I'll ever understand about human beings and human nature. And I feel like urban exploring makes me question it even more than I used to, which is difficult sometimes because I don't know if anyone can give me a justifiable reason for some of the questions I have. I don't think it exists, you know? And I think a lot of people are with me there. So anyway, I wanted to come share a bit about the Palmer Mansion because, like I said, I feel like it really kick-started this whole urbex thing for me. And it exposed me to the community that is built around urbex. And I've already made friends with a few people that I feel like are going to be my friends for a while, you know, and we're going to go exploring together and they'll probably show up on the podcast. And it's becoming something more than what I thought it would be. And I'm just really happy to see that the world is in a place where through technology and curiosity, I guess, urban explorers get to meet each other and explore together and share their experiences with each other, because it's kind of hard to find people that are just as into it as some of us are. And I think that when we meet those people, we're instant family. But yeah, I am super grateful for the Palmer Mansion. It was such a good find. Going up there was not for the faint of heart. The drive, I don't even know if I should call it a driveway, but yeah, the driveway is super narrow, basically just mud. Thankfully, it hadn't rained any in a couple of days leading up to the day of going out there, because my friend Jen, who had been up there prior, she told me the drive was a mess. Like, her car got stuck, I think. You have to reverse around a bend. You have to basically reverse out of the drive. And by the time you're there, you can't change the fact. You know, like, you gotta back the fuck out of there. And it's like windy, and you're in the woods, and there's trees everywhere, so you can't do like a weird 3-point turn in any way. It's impossible. You have to reverse out. And it is a good, long ass, windy driveway. So the driveway was a challenge and a half, because it was muddy, like I said. And we didn't even make it to the gate because an entire forest of trees had fallen across the driveway leading up to the gate. So we literally had to climb over a bunch of trees before we could even get to the front gate. So upon arrival, we were already challenged. After that, it was fairly smooth sailings. We encountered a mouse in the garage that I'm pretty sure was unwell. And it was not surprising because there was questionable things in this garage, like glass everywhere. I don't even know what else. I didn't go in there. The door was open. I kind of like peeped my head in, and then I saw the mouse over in the corner, and I was like, I think I'll just go into the mansion and we'll skip the garage. It's a really, really beautiful mansion. I've never seen a build like this. I've never seen a mansion, a house, anything built like this before. And I don't know that I ever will again, to be honest with you, but it's unique, to say the least. We did wander inside for a while. It's several floors. I can't even tell you how many. I think it's definitely 2 floors. There might be a 3rd floor on one of the sides. I don't know. Some of the stairs were kind of sketchy at best. We did manage to go up and down stairs. So it's not like they were completely falling away or anything. It's the spiral staircase, and it's old and it's worn, and God knows what the fuck all has happened in this house by now. So everything is in ruins, and there's glass everywhere. You need to really watch every step. There was one room in particular that you kind of could turn this corner, and for some reason I was just like, intuition says let's go the other way. So we went the other way because I don't question my intuition in these instances. So I'm not sure why I felt like that. Could have been for no reason. Maybe Palmer's ghost resides in there. I have no idea. Maybe a homeless person was living in there. I don't know. Nothing happened. I didn't hear a noise and I didn't see anything. It was just a weird feeling happened. So I was like, let's not go into this room any further. There was this really huge tank that was underneath the second floor. I don't know. I'll put a picture of it up on my Instagram at some point, but there are a few pictures up of the Palmer Mansion on my Instagram at urbex echoes. Feel free to follow me. Feel free to check those out. Keep up with my adventures and all the things for the podcast on there. But yeah, there are a few pictures up already, but I will put a picture of that tank up because it's fucking weird. I've never seen anything like it. And I don't know if it's because like it's a mansion, so maybe it needs this big of a tank, like a water tank. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really don't know. But it was off. It was odd. It was weird. Long story short, the Palmer Mansion is but a shell of a mansion today. And it's unfortunate. It's still worth seeing. If you're not planning on vandalizing and you want to go take pictures of a cool place, I highly recommend looking into that. But if you're not in this area, just look it up on YouTube because there's several videos of it up of people doing walkthroughs and other explorers that have gone. And like I said, I will keep posting some pictures, and I posted a tiny reel of the outside of it. That is also on my Instagram. And while I'm talking about that, I want to announce that the website for Echoes of Elsewhere will be launching this Friday. So do be sure to keep your eyes peeled on my Instagram. I'll be announcing when it's live, and the link will be in my Instagram bio, and I will link the website here on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening from. It'll also show up here in the description on Friday. You'll be able to find the interviews that take place on here on the website, and you'll be able to find photo galleries and some videos of some of the explorations that I've done. So feel free to check those out. And like I said, the link will be in my Instagram bio and here on Spotify or Apple on Friday. So yeah, I invite you guys to check that out. But until then, if you're curious about the Palmer Mansion and you want to have a look at it for yourself, like I said, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just type in Abandoned Palmer Mansion. So yeah, I just wanted to come back this week and discuss my exploration, my adventure out to the Palmer Mansion and touch base a little bit on why it is important to this podcast and to my urbex journey in general. I appreciate you guys for coming back and tuning in. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and leave your review of the podcast. And stick around because there will be more adventures coming up, more interviews with other explorers, more advice and tips and cautionary tales around urban explorations. So yeah, stay tuned if you are into all things abandoned, because I'll be trying to cover all of it. Any of it, all of it. I'm here for it. Anyways, I will sign off. Thank you guys for listening. I will be back next week. Until then, keep exploring the allure and the abandoned, the beauty of decay, and the echoes of elsewhere.